Hi there, this is Mike Haslam. Looking at the affinity maps and updated journey map. So the goal that I'm working on here is increasing ridership on MARTA here in Atlanta to special events. And just the colors of the stickies aren't that important. The yellow ones are from the data and observations and interviews, and the pink ones are really data from the videos and others' observations of what they are. So I did a couple of different affinity maps and really kind of was focusing on the pain points and the positives. So those are the kind of the plus and the minuses on the different stages of the journey. And what's interesting is from this view of, again, to the station, to the at the station, ticketing gate, platform, train, that was really the view of my customer journey on my first pass. Started, with the I get to the station and this is what I do, because I personally am a daily commuter, and that's just kind of where my thought process starts. What was interesting to me was that the vast majority of the data I actually kind of would place chronologically well before that. There are things like the motivators or characteristics of the group, making a decision to ride, and you can kind of see there I had a couple of subcategories under decision. For things that kind of factored into people's making the decision to ride, and then the planning of the trip, which again was not something I'd really thought through very well up front. So some of the things about this kind of special event riders, I won't go into all of these subsections into detail, but this kind of helps define or put a little more color around about my user group. So they do tend to kind of travel in packs. There is typically a leader or a planner, and they actually tend to budget a little bit of extra time into the trip. So they're not as focused about things being running on time. They're a little more kind of flexible, a little more it's a little more flexible as a user. But I thought it was really kind of interesting, again, how the decision part kind of factors into it. And I kind of just thought a little bit, and that's kind of why I posted that singles quote for anyone that saw it on Slack. But the default is to drive, and that's something that while it might be obvious, I'd kind of lost sight of. Most people in Atlanta have cars. People love their cars. And if you think about, people in their vision of the future, it's about cars. When you think about it from an individual standpoint, the only time you really think about public transportation in terms of the future is when you look at it from a city planning kind of perspective. And so this is people's habit, is driving their car, and breaking that habit is certainly not an easy one to do. And typically, like most habits that you have to break, they're motivated by pain. And so I kind of did a little bit of time kind of thinking through, to get someone to take public transportation, and this kind of goes back to, I forget who said it, but that, there's no good outcome of public transportation. It's a meh experience at best. I do kind of think that most people kind of get pressured into it from driving being a less appealing option. So you kind of have this interesting kind of a struggle of the driving has to be so distasteful to consider public transportation, and then you have to decide to take public transportation, and there can't be any kind of negatives or alternatives that trump that decision. So again, whether it's Uber or someone has a safety concern, that's a tough one to overcome. If someone just says, I don't feel safe on public transportation. And so those are kind of some of the things that really kind of started standing out to me a little bit. And so this is kind of my updated customer journey, where again I've kind of extended it a few extra steps upstream, and really kind of expanded out some of the details into the positives and negatives. And that is my updated customer journey. Thanks.